And good morning, this is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor, and it is a Monday morning here in South Carolina. Blue skies at the moment, but it could rain. You never know, because I don't know how fast those clouds roll in, but they roll in fast and they dump a lot of water. But right now, it's blue skies, so I'm going to be happy with the blue skies. Listen, I want to encourage you to teach your children about finances. And I wrote a book. It's called Kids and Money for Parents. And it's for parents to teach their children about managing their money, saving, thinking about what they're going to buy. I mean, it is a good book. It's a short book. It's not very long. But it gives you the guidelines of what you need to do to help your kids understand about money. And maybe it will even help you also. But there's a link down below, and it's called Michael's Books by Michael, and you can find it below. Now, I have been talking to you over the last few days about the oil, the gas prices. Now, I also talked to you about our inventories are getting lower. Our national inventory only has 18 days left in it. So we have to keep that there for an emergency. We have to build it up. But right now they're not building it up. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to tell us you should not use oil or gas any longer. So we're not going to fill up our reserves. I don't know what they're doing. They're absolutely nuts. But oil inventories, I wish I could talk this morning. I've had my coffee, so there should be no reason why I don't get my words right. But inventories are beginning to fall in some regions of the world as demand outpaces supply, which is constrained by deep production cuts from OPEC. Leader Saudi Arabia providing support for prices which are expected to rise in coming months. JP Morgan analysts said this month that oil inventories, which include crude and fuel products, now play a bigger role in determining oil prices than U.S. dollar because Western sanctions on Russia have accelerated oil trading in other currencies. They said that they expect stocks to draw relatively aggressively in July. This is stocks of oil, okay? This is barrels of oil and everything else. Aggressively in July, and by the end of August, we should be through the stock builds that we saw in the first half of the year, said Christopher Haynes, an analyst at Energy Aspects. We are on the cusp of supply tightness. Saudi's cuts are essentially accelerating the timelines. Both International Energy Agency, IEA, and the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, expect oil demand to outpace supply this year, leading to overall inventory draws to the tune of 400,000 to 500,000 barrels per day, mostly accounted for by the second half of the year. So what does that mean? Well, there's a link to that article below, by the way. What does that mean? Well, it means that since we don't have enough inventory worldwide, and now that we are dependent upon other countries, we're going to have higher oil prices. And you can see it going on right now. By the way, can you believe that we're at the end of July? This is the last day of July. I cannot believe we went through July so fast. And now we're going to August and some September. And then we're going to get just 2 more months and we're into the fall. It goes by fast. But during that time, we can expect that our oil prices, our gas prices, are going to go up. Let me find. I think there was a final statement on that was very important. Let me see if I can find it. So it said that refineries are running harder to meet rising summer demand as people drive and fly more partially because it explains the fall in inventories, the bank said. along with a drop in Russian oil exports this month. So, as I said before, we are going to be faced with higher oil prices, higher gas prices. And what does that do? Well, when that number goes up, so does our food prices, so do our transportation prices, so does our household income gets hit more because of higher gas prices. And if we are not producing more gasoline in this nation, and we're depending upon foreign sources, we're stuck. We're stuck with the rest of the world. Especially as China's using more gas, India's using more gas. All of these countries are using more oil products. So that means that the rise in gas prices is also going to create an inventory upward swing. And that's not where we were going. But unfortunately, we have such a bad energy policies here in the United States that we are in trouble. We are in trouble. No one's buying electronic vehicles because there's not enough power stations. There's not enough grid allowance for EVs. So who wants to get stuck because you cannot charge your car? I tell you, we are in a pitiful mess because of the leadership that we have currently in Washington, D.C. We need to do more for the American people. We need to be able to provide enough fuel so that we can get to our jobs, so that we can have a little bit of R&R by getting away. But if oil prices are going to get out of control again, which it sounds as though they may, then we're in trouble again. Remember what happens is that in order for you to get that tomato, there's got to be a truck that hauls it from the farms to the stores. And that takes a diesel truck. And diesel prices have gone up. So what do you think what do you think happens to the cost of that tomato? It goes up also. And we're seeing it happen. We've had 13-cent increases, and we're seeing even more happening this week. So here we go, entering into August, and we have a gas supply inventory issue. And for the president to allow the National Reserve to be drawn down so greatly that we only have 18 days left in the reserve for any kind of an emergency, that's really stupid. You know, the other thing that I was reading this story this morning, and it was about this little town in Virginia. And it was a coal mining town. There used to be 100,000 people in this little town. Now there's about 10,000 people. Because when the coal mines shut down, everybody moved away. So what did that do? Well, it killed off a little local newspaper. Now, you can just imagine this little country town, way up in the mountains where the coal mines were, where everybody used to have a job, everybody used to work hard. And then we had another energy policy come through from Biden, and it literally shut down this little town. Everybody moved away. Well, when it shut down that little newspaper that everybody used to follow every day because it covered all of the local news, not the national news, but the local news, what was going on in the businesses, what was going on in the churches, it was a community-based newspaper. It's gone now. They no longer can produce a newspaper. They've tried to go online, but there's a lot of people up there that don't know how to run a computer. So they say, come on in and we'll teach you how. We'll teach you how to get your news. But the problem is the individuals who are left behind after everyone has moved out are not tech savvy. They're the old ones who have stayed put, stayed in their old house, homestead. But yet, a president comes along and says, we're no longer going to be using coal. So they all left. They no longer had a job. They had to go find work some other place. And now they're down to 10,000 people. It's amazing how just one decision can destroy a whole community. And, I like small town newspapers. You get to hear all the gossip. You get to hear what happened when the police officer went out to a certain house. You get to hear all of that information that you want to know what's happening within your community. Well, now that's all gone because of bad political policies. I love small towns. I was listening to a podcaster last night, and he and his wife are leaving California. And they are going to go to, I think, about 7 different cities. They're going to spend 1 month in each city. And they're starting in Texas, and they'll be going up to Tennessee. And they're looking for a small town, a small town, to live in, to call home. Moving from California to all these little communities just for a month to decide where they want to live. So here you have individuals from California who are willing to leave the hustle and bustle of California, the corrupt politics of California, the high taxes of California, the high cost of living in California. They're moving away from it so that they can go to a small town and live a peaceful life. Get involved. She's a school teacher, so she can get a school teaching job almost anywhere. But here you have it. 2 individuals who were born in California said, we want something new. We want something different. So they're packing their car and they're leaving. Well, I think they've already left because they're always late on their podcasts or vlogs, I should say, on YouTube. But here they go. And they're gone. I'll put their link down below so you can watch their episode. But can you imagine small towns being destroyed by Washington, D.C. politics? That is probably one of the most corrupt times in our life at the moment, where we see the corruptness of Washington, D.C. How they don't care about how they affect communities by their political stance, their political agenda. But today's Monday, last day of July. Tomorrow's August. So we move on for the remainder of the year. And we focus on where we need to be in our spiritual lives, in our business lives, and in our family lives. Let's keep moving along, people. We got work to do. Listen, if you would like to sit down with me on business coaching, you can book me online at www.lodge-co.com. If you have a business question, send it to the business advisor at Zmail, Z as in zebra, Zmail.com. Everybody go out and have a great day. I'll talk with you tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.